that was. That's how good you are.
Thank you.
So that's something that I think you had to study.
Oh, yeah.
So did you go and like bond with some homeless?
Yes, actually, one of the first things I did when I was preparing for this particular piece was I helped out on Christmas at a soup kitchen. And while I was there was actually this homeless man named Jerry. He's not like exactly like the story is not the same. Like I obviously, created the story around this person that I encountered. But he was the cutest thing. Let me tell you, he had this voice like Mr. Magoo, okay, so it wasn't quite like my voice. And he was the life of the party. He had this woman's wig on, and he had like a hat, and just like he wanted to dance with everybody. And he just had this real joy about him and this pizzazz. And I loved him. I absolutely just fell in love with him. And I started, playing with that character and kind of picturing him and finding images of homeless men and that sort of thing. And it was kind of the combination of that, that I created Jerry out of.
Well, he should be really honored. He should be.
If he ever knew.
So, I mean, when you're in that skit, you're in that frame of mind, and you're actually, you're him, but you're doing the mannerisms. You have it all down, and you're picking up the cans, and you're taking up the hands, everything. You had it all down. It was really good.
Thank you.
So when you look back at that, what do you think? What kind of message are you delivering, and what are you thinking when you look at it?
Well, it's funny because even looking at it now, you kind of, it's like walking in someone else's skin. You really get to feel them. And I just think it's so beautiful. I love the part where he starts talking about Mother Teresa. And like every time I do it, I can feel that excitement of, how when you have that special story, to share. Like it's like he met Mother Teresa. I mean, how beautiful that is, and how much he must love sharing that story when he does encounter people, because that is like his claim to fame, and then just the fact of showing, like I always like to work from the stereotype. So showing this man who's got the cans. We always picture homeless men.
So that's your prop.
With cans, right?
Yes.
Yes. And kind of like disheveled and that sort of thing. But then to really show who's behind that, to get people to relax and laugh at him. You laugh with him, at his stories. But at the same time, once you get down to it, I mean, you listen to him talking about losing his father and how he ended up on the streets. And you realize, oh, this is a man just like anybody else, and this could have been anybody.
And that's your message.
Yeah.
Is to, you're creating and showing a beautiful moment even with somebody that has nothing, or does he have everything?
Yeah.
He's not taking anything for granted.
Yes, exactly.
And but having nothing.
Yes.
At this point, and having lost a lot.
Exactly.
So we're going to see another clip.
Great.
We're really getting quite a treat here with you. So just, want to quickly set up this next clip?
Yes. So you had seen a clip, you saw me perform at the top of the show, a play called Baggage. I have another version of the same exact show just for teenagers. And it's also called Baggage. But instead of it being an adult Gina, it's a teenage Gina. She's stuck in airport security. She's a senior in high school going for a college interview.
Okay.
And she goes through her bag, and of course it brings back memories of things that she did. Same kind of premise. But in this case, it's a different time in her life. And this way, I really wanted teens to be able to relate to it. So it deals with things in school, such as like cheating and teen dating and gossiping and bullying and those things that are so important to talk with teenagers. So
we went from female to male, and now younger teenager. So you're actually covering a lot of bases here for us to see. Quite a great variety.
Yes.
Okay, let's show that clip.
And this is Gina's high school history teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I see.
Good afternoon, class. I'm sorry to start off today's class with some bad news. It appears that I've come down with a bit of a cold. I promise I won't breathe on any of you. I don't think I'm contagious, and I hope I didn't catch it from one of you. If I did, and I find out who the perpetrator was, you're guaranteed an F in the class. Just kidding. I don't have the power to do that, but wouldn't it be great if I did? Now on to the bit of important business. As I mentioned yesterday, the answer key to the exam mysteriously went missing. Unfortunate for you, I know the answers like I know the back of my hand. Like I know how to tie my shoe. I could recite them in my sleep. I could inscript them with the butter knife on your peanut butter sandwiches. With that said, I'm sorry to inform you that the majority of you failed the exam. There was, however, one shining star, a beacon of light, and that was Gina Bonanno. She got a perfect score on the exam. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's give her a round of applause. That's right. Never in the history of my teaching existence has anyone ever got a perfect score on one of my exams. She even got the bonus question. What was the name of General George Washington's horse? Astounding. See, this just goes to show what can be done with hard work and study. See, it's not impossible to get a perfect score on one of my exams. It just takes dedication and a real passion for history. Gina has that passion, and it shines like a bright light upon all of you who choose to remain in the shadows. You choose the darkness over the light. Let us strive for the light, for it is in the light that we shall be illuminated and enlightened with knowledge. Now, on to our topic of today's class, famous lawyers, cheats, and thieves, and history. Let's start with the Watergate scandal. Gina, since you're now ranked first in the class, my star pupil, number 1, I want you to answer the first question. What was it that President Nixon said on national television, in regards to the scandal? I'm not a crook. That's right. I knew you'd know the answer. My little light bulb. Now, Sarah, tell me about Benedict Arnold.
Oh my gosh, what teacher did you have?
We've all had him at some point, I'm sure.
Because you had a role model, but the sneezing, everything seems so real.
Oh, the kids, when I perform that in the high schools, they just love it because they can all relate to it. Like, we've all had that crazy teacher, and actually that particular character was based, I had done a trip to Philly, and I went to Independence Hall, and there was this guy who was this tour guide at the time, and oh my gosh, he was this short little guy, and he kind of had beady eyes and glasses, and he kept on, like, I swear, I don't know why this man went to work, because he just kept on sneezing and sniffling, and it was just the whole 9 yards. And I remember looking at my friend, because seriously, he was like something out of a sitcom. And I remember looking at my friend Kelly and just saying, is he real? This guy's real. Mm-hmm. And I knew when I got back, I was like, oh my gosh, I was starting to write this character. I totally could just see him with this whole, gross, like, sneezing thing. And the voice, actually, I was watching different clips of different people because I was trying to get the right voice. And I was watching Rick Moranis, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And it was one of his clips from, I think he used to be on a Canadian comedy show. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I was just watching clips on YouTube. And he just did this thing where he really elongated this word. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even like the whole character spoke like that, but I was like, ooh. And all of a sudden,
you exaggerate it. You take it a little bit further. Everything you're doing, even your, your costumes, you're exaggerating it.
Yes.
It just all works. It's
Thank
entertaining.
Thank you.
It just all works. It's funny. It's making us forget a lot of things. You know, that's what entertainment is for.
Yeah.
And you're going places. I mean,
Oh,
you already are. You already are. And I'm just so privileged to have you here today
Well, thank
on
you.
our show. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you'd like to add?
That I'd like to share or add? I mean, I could share with you.
Well, a funny story.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can share with
I'd
you a
love-
funny story.
Yeah.
I was performing teen baggage, and of course, part of my, what I want to be doing is I want to be performing in theaters and on stages, but also going out into schools and non-traditional spaces and also performing, because I think it's very important to, for a large variety of different people to be able to see drama, which isn't
Right.
always the
Right.
case. So I was performing for a group actually in the Boston area, and this was hilarious. I will never forget it. This was last spring, and I'm at the end of the play, okay, and I'm at this point with Gina, and she's cleaning up the mess of her bag on the stage, and there's music going on in the background, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy. And he was one of the leaders of the group, start walking towards me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? Is he going to tell me that I'm going too long, or what's going on? You know, like I was all like what is he doing? Because there's no stage. So I'm just flat on the floor with everyone else. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's no real wall or like safety zone to say, do not cross this point, okay? And he starts, and he's moving closer, and he's moving closer, and he's moving closer. I'm like, just focus on what I'm doing. Just stay in the moment. Don't break character. Just keep going. And all of a sudden, he gets very, very uncomfortably close, like as close as you are. And all of a sudden, I see out of the corner of my eye, flash! And he thought that that would be a good opportunity to take a picture of me. And the kids in the audience are all
Wow.
like giggling because they're like, oh my gosh. But then it gets better because he decides that he's not just going to take a picture of me, but he's going to turn around and he's going to take a picture of the entire audience
Wow.
from that spot. It was just like, oh.
Who was he? Did you ever
my
find out?
goodness. He was just one of the adults. He was probably a parent of one of the kids and just did not know any better. And like I said, it's a non-traditional drama space, but on the other hand, I love it. I love being able to share.
And he
you
thought
know,
you could handle it.
Oh,
You handled it,
I
but he
handled
thought,
it.
but he thought, no problem.
Right,
Just-
right. Like this is the way that we normally do things, and I just love the fact that he even left his flash on top of that. I was like, great.
right in your face. And just-
I know.
At least
Seriously.
did he give you a CD of
He
it?
should have.
Yeah, for that.
That point, I know. Seriously, that was very daring of him. I don't think I've ever had anyone get quite that close while I was performing.
Wow.
It's like, this is my personal space.
I'm so honored that you're here to let our viewers see this, and one woman show that would be so hard to do and hard to perform because you have nobody else to bounce
yeah.
anything off of, but you get into character beautifully.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I love your messages, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of you.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, so you'll be writing another character soon,
yeah.
I bet. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
having me.
And that's a wrap. That's a wrap.